Oh, Fats, bless you. We've got to run. Fats Domino, ladies and gentlemen, if you please. Gonna have to say goodbye from the whole...
Hi, this is Pete Howard, Director of Concert Posters for Heritage Auctions. And what a fun boxing-style window card / cardboard concert poster from the spring of 1956, just when commercial rock and roll was kablooey, exploding. Right now at this time, the #1 record in the country was Elvis Presley's Heartbreak Hotel, setting this in very nice context. Sort of the big bang of commercial rock and roll as we know it today, as it carried forward. But boy, just look at this fun poster. Rhythm and Blues of 1956, it says right there on the poster. Friday, April 20th at the Sporatorium here in Dallas, Texas, where I'm sitting right now and where Heritage Auctions, of course, is headquartered. So it's fun to have a little local flavor in a poster like this. Boy, I'll tell you, Fats Domino and his big orchestra, of course, they previously had called orchestras conventional musicians and everything, and when rock and roll hit and R&B hit, they just kept using the term orchestra, even though they developed into R&B and rock bands, you know. But there he is, Fats, and also on the poster you've got Ruth Brown, who's labeled Miss Rhythm. That's pretty cool. The Clovers with Devil or Angel, big hit for them. And you've got the Cadillacs with Speedoo. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Little Willie John is on there. Yeah, Leave My Kitten Alone and Fever and so forth. Great to have him on there. And then down near the bottom, look at that. Not quite his rookie baseball card, but getting close. And there you have Little Richard with the song title Tutti Frutti. And that was unquestionably Richard Penniman's first hit, Tutti Frutti. It was top 20 nationally on the pop charts and all the way to #2 on the rhythm and blues charts. So he definitely belonged on the poster, but nowhere near the stature of Fats Domino yet. But Little Richard's very next single, which as a matter of fact was released this very month, April, was Long Tall Sally. And that would change everything, and he was off and running forever. So, but just a classic Globe poster window card. Interestingly, once in a while they don't have their credit on the poster, and this doesn't, because right there along the bottom margin, the 8 Talent Agency used up all the space with their name. But this definitely is a Globe. If you collect them, you certainly would recognize it, of course. Just red, blue, and yellow prominently used, plus white and black, and just, you know, just great layout, very Globe. It's just very Globe, and we love that. And of course, it's the standard size, 14 by 22 inch window card. And people sometimes say to me, what do you mean by window card in your descriptions? How does that differ from a poster? Well, a window card means retailers could just stand, they don't have to tape it up or tack it up. They could just stand it up in their windows, of course on the inside, so that the elements wouldn't get it and thieves wouldn't get it. And it would just stand there as a card, you know, rigid, made of thin cardboard, and could be moved around conveniently and so forth as the retailers needed. So that's why they're called window cards as a secondary name. But the standard size, interestingly, 14 by 22 inches, that was born like in the 1920s and continues remarkably to this day. If you check out some modern concert posters or window cards in your hometown, you'll find they're about 14 by 22 a large amount of the time. So, rarity, did we mention that yet? Oh my goodness. Now, I've been collecting concert posters seriously for 35 years. I love Globes, I love 50s rock and roll, I love Fats and Little Richard, of course, and so forth. Never seen another, never. And of course, this is a tour blank, meaning it's printed with all these colors first, and this is dropped in last, as the local promoters wanted them. I have never seen it from any other city. So, you know, in the 60s, people started to save things, especially when psychedelic posters came along. In the 50s, nobody saved anything. Nobody thought rock and roll and rhythm and blues would have any future and come to shape pop culture, you know, as it were. It was just a passing fad for teenagers, and so nothing was saved. So these things are so rare. Hen's teeth, of course, is the common expression that comes to mind. So needless to say, first ever heritage. And, you know, from any city, not just from the Sportatorium, we've just never seen another one. So another fun thing about this, with so many acts on there, you could call this a caravan tour, right? Meaning nobody did a full set. Everybody, Fats might have done 20 minutes or something, hard to say. Could have done a half an hour, but more likely, you know, 2, 3, 4 songs each. And this is a very early rock and roll / R&B caravan poster. The Biggest Show of Stars series had not started yet. Those started in '57, and their predecessor was the biggest in-person of '56. And those would start after this. And so this is a very early rock and roll caravan poster, just adding a really fun little, you know, little asterisk or a nice little feather in its cap. That's the expression I'm looking for. So really fun, really rare, and really cool early rock and roll and R&B concert poster coming up in the Heritage November auction of concert posters, all taking place on one day this time. That's on Friday, November 7th, and it starts at 12 noon Central Time, meaning, of course, 1 p.m. on the East Coast and 10 a.m. on the West Coast. So to check us out, just go ahead and head over to ha.com/7421.